Hello everyone in RxJava free tutorial for beginners. Today we are going to discuss a very important topic, which is Disposable. And without knowledge about the Disposable, you will not be able to efficiently use RxJava free. So let's start with this topic. Before going into the code, let's discuss some scenario of Android application. And don't worry, you don't need to know anything about Android development at all. In Android world, screens are usually represented by objects called activity. So I have activity A and activity B. Now suppose that I'm opening activity B from within activity A. And after that, some long-running RxJava operation takes place. For example, there is a stream, RxJava stream, which produces items all the time. Later, I decide to move back to the activity A. And now I have a problem. What kind of problem, you might ask? RxJava stream takes resources. And if you don't dispose that resources, then you have memory leak in your application. If you don't know what it is, it's basically a situation when objects which are no longer needed still are in memory and cannot be garbage collected. So in this case, even that if I no longer see screen B, this entire screen, it is still in memory. So I back to the screen A, I don't see screen B, but because I didn't dispose RxJava objects, this is still in memory, even if you don't see that. And the whole concept of disposable and disposing RxJava object is intended to mitigate that. And let's see some examples in practice, in code. Working with disposable comes to obtaining this disposable and later on calling dispose method when the RxJava stream is no longer needed. I prepared 3 examples, 1, 2 and 3, which basically shows you in which situation how you can obtain the disposable object. So later you can clean up the resources. Let's start with example number 1. Here I'm creating observable which emits item every second. And as you can see, I'm subscribing to my observable, and what's interesting, this subscribe method returns disposable object. So whenever you subscribe to the observable, you gain access to disposable. And when you no longer need that stream, this subscriber and this observable, then you can call the dispose method of that. And also disposable object has isDisposed method. This is basically some kind of protection in order to avoid calling the dispose method twice, which is wrong in general. Let's go to the second example. As you can see, subscribe not always returns disposable. In case you pass observer, not the consumer, in that case we pass the consumer object here, and in that case we are passing observer. In this case, subscribe method returns void and not the disposable. And at this moment I would like to bring concept of composite disposable. Composite disposable is basically a collection which can hold disposable objects. And this is very helpful because when you have many streams and you want to, let's say, free up resources at once, then you can use composite disposable. Let's declare our composite disposable and create that object of this type, and you can simply just add disposable, like for example any other object to some list or array. And when you don't need your RxJava streams, you don't need your RxJava operations, you can simply call dispose method on composite disposable, and all the disposables which are added during the, let's say, execution of your program are disposed when you call dispose method on that. And in this case, you free up all the resources and there is no memory leak, there is no memory overhead. The last example shows how you can work with object of type resource observer. And as you can see, in case of resource observer, which is basically an observer, but I would say on steroids, you don't have access to the onSubscribe method and at the same time to the disposable object. This is because if you visit the resource observer, it itself implements Disposable interface. It means that we can call dispose method directly on this object. So this is something that I'm doing here. So I'm subscribing to the observable, and as you can see, it still returns void. I don't have access to Disposable here because I'm passing observer, but I can call directly dispose on the observer because, as I just show you, it implements Disposable interface. And in this video I didn't run the code because it doesn't have much sense. I just want to show you how you can utilize disposing concept of RxJava streams from the code perspective. And in summary, disposing is a very important topic and you should always use this mechanism whenever is need for that. So the base idea is simple. If you don't need new emissions from some stream, you should always dispose this. This is all for today. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video. Bye.